So, sir, we want to discuss Oriki as the Yoruba instrument of history preservation.
Okay.
And this is a continuation of what you taught us earlier about Yoruba being a culture of intellection.
Oriki goes beyond storage of history. Oriki is the means of Yoruba knowledge management.
Okay, sir. Let us take it from Ori itself. You've told me that
everything that the Yoruba know is stored in an Oriki. It's a knowledge management system for Yoruba. I mean, because the first aspect of Oriki you are likely to encounter is the Oriki of individuals around you. Even some brilliant European scholars that have studied or say it is praise poetry.
Praise poetry.
Okay. See, the poetry part of it goes without saying. It is orature. Anybody that says an important thing in an oral culture must say it in a way the hearer cannot forget. And that is why it is poetry.
That alone necessitates the poetic nature.
You have to do it poetically. Every oral culture in the world say important thing in poetry. So that is poetry is given. Praise poetry. It is not always praise, not always flattery. When you say somebody is an Omafarishowola.
Oriki no ni.
Oriki no ni.
Afarishowola.
Afarishowola. Abi omo asun korun la. Somebody who sleeps until it's daybreak. He doesn't wake up early in the morning, and that's an Oriki. So it is not always flattering. Thank you. I define Oriki. I follow my niece, Dr. Damola Adesina, that Oriki is a compacted knowledge about a person, an object, or a phenomenon.
Which is why almost everything has an Oriki.
Anything that the Yoruba knows is in an Oriki. Now, what is Oriki? Is Ori, ki. Kiki ori, Oriki. Kiki ori. What is ki there? You know, I talked about compacting. You know the Yoruba word for match. Kile. To compact the earth. Akile. So, when you take a big idea and you compact it and compact it that it becomes dense and it becomes easier to memorize than if it is such big. It's just like you want to collect old cardboards. You compress it before you put it into a container, otherwise it will not contain enough. So when you compress and compact, then you are able to admit a lot of knowledge in a small space in your brain. Now, what is the Ori there? Ori is the fundamental notion of identity in Yoruba. Ori ojori.
Ori ojori.
That means there are a number of Ori in the place. And we take all these Ori to be equal in value. That's the meaning of Ori ojori. So, once you have identified something, then what makes it unique? What makes it unique? Because if you have three things that are not unique, there's no identity, they are all same. So, to now tell us what is unique about them, you start compacting the information about them. And you know, when you tell somebody deep information, you say,
Wow.
So that is what Oriki is. Ori is the fundamental notion of identity. And when you now start the process of compacting information about that identified, that entity, then you have Oriki for that thing. Now, Ori is identity, and when you identify something, you identify it by its essence, what it really is, what is unique about it, what makes it different from others. Because that is what turns it into an Ori. If it's not different from that, it's no more an Ori.
Uniqueness.
Uniqueness. Now, Ori is also the same word for the part of the body that contains the features that best identify a person. That is why you say you take a passport photograph to identify somebody.
The headshot is enough.
It will identify the person. If I see somebody going ahead and is tall and I say, is that not Washiri? When it was, sorry. When you see
Ori is the fundamental basis of identity.
And that's why we call this Ori. That is where the identity comes from. Now, all these I've talked about so well. This Ori that we are saying is the Ori Ode. There's an Ori Inu, which can put the Ori Ode into trouble. Ori Inu Batodeje. Now, now that unit of identity will have to take a position, because Ori is the basis of person. So we talk of personality, personification, individual. Now, from individual, you can get individuality and individualism.
Okay.
Individuality is that one that makes an individual different. Individualism is an attitude of I'm not interested in you. So you now have between individuality, which is real, which is what you are, which is what makes you unique, and individualism, your attitude to the others. Now, between individuality and individualism, you must stay somewhere. You must take a position. That is your Iwa. That is Bitowa. That is why we pray. Apart from Kori inu mi baba to deje, ibi to ri ngbe ni re kese sin ni a lo. So, where along that individualism continuum does your Ori place you? And where your Ori places you, are your legs cooperating to get you there? So if your Ori puts you at a spot between individuality and individualism, and your legs cooperate and take you there, you are become an Olori. You have become an Olori. There is an Ifa verse that talks about people making their aspirations and making their requests, making their wants, their desires and all that, and they did not consider the feet. We better go and consider your feet too, because it is the feet that will carry your identity to where your Ori is pointing to. So ibito wa yen ni iwa e. The iwa is the physical, positional idea. There's a counterpart. That is the ewa.
So now we've been launched into the Yoruba philosophy of Iwalewa now.
Iwalewa, many people think it's a pun. It's not a pun. Iwa and Ewa are cognates based on wa.
Wa. So they are nominalizations.
They are both nominalization in different directions. Iwa is the position which produces Ishe. Ewa is the aesthetics of the position.
Oh, okay. It's a result of the Iwa.
That is why
Iwalewa.
Iwalewa. So if you are not in a good position, you are not likely to come out looking good.
Which makes it make sense that really, no matter how aesthetically pleasing a person
It cannot not make sense. It is sages that compacted the knowledge. Àwọn tí orí wọn pé ni wọ́n di èrò sínú kinní yẹn.
Ìwà lẹ́wà.
It is not a pun. Ìwà and ẹwà are cognates.
Wow.
They are two sides of a coin. If your ìwà is good, you will have ẹwà. If you have ẹwà without ìwà, bí ojú kọ́bọ̀ kan àìbọ̀ mi ò lè fẹ́. Ṣùgbọ́n tó bá dára tó níwà, mo lè fi $1,000 o, not $1,000. Because that was what 1,000 was then.
It was $1,000.
In fact, more than $1,000, because in 1979, when I was going to the US, I got $820 for 500 naira.
$820
for 500
naira.
Yeah, I still have it in my passport. I can show you.
How much is dollars now?
I said it in my cultural economy of A for Apple. It's about 30 cents today.
Wow.
So,
I don't know whether to laugh or cry at that one. Sir, moving on, sir. Talking about Oriki as an example of Yoruba being a culture of intellection. You gave an example of your own Oriki. And then you also gave an example of your Orile, where you talked about Moduro.
Well, you see, we need to first of all explain what Orile is.
Orile is.
Oriki, we have explained, is when you take an identified entity. You take an entity, you identify it, and you compact the knowledge based on which it is identified. Orile is you take a group of people who exemplified by the land on which they live. So when you take a family, for example, you take them as Ile. When you take a collection of families, maybe in an Adigbo, as we will say in Ilesha, Ogbon.
Tokilogbon. There's a name like that.
Yes. You then see them as one unit. You know, it has now become an Oritu. The collection of them.
The basis of identity.
They have the hand. So when you now give them Oriki, a collective Oriki, that is what you refer to as Orile. And there are many of them. In Yoruba, Professor Adeboye Babalala documented, I think, 37.
Orile.
Yes. And very, very instructive.
So that was why I saw Onikoyi. Very detailed.
Okay, you went to look at my... That's where I come from. Proudly so.
Sir, like pé ìgbéraga pọ̀ fún àwọn onítorí Oriki àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ Ìkòyí yẹn bíi pé
Well, if you want to know whether I am a Ìkòyí or not, go and see when I enter a discussion on any WhatsApp group. I don't leave until we resolve it. Mi ò kì í fẹ̀yìn gbọ́ta.
Wọ́n ní pé ẹ̀ṣọ́ Ìkòyí fẹ̀yìn gbọ́ta bàbá iwájú bàbá wọn fi ń gbà.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Anybody that gets hit from the back was retreating.
He's a coward. Yeah.
Was retreating. Orile ó pẹ̀ka, because you have a mother, you have a father. Your mother has an Orile, your father has an Orile. Your mother's mother has an Orile, your mother's father has an Orile. So you see it bifurcating like that, like what we call in computer science a binary tree, just expanding and expanding and expanding. So my father's side, for example, I am Iko. Then at another side I am Ikoyi, Eshokoyi. At another side I am Opo. Opo Majale kan. Opo Kaja Karo Oyo. Kawe tó ní bàbá tó jura wọn lọ.
Àwọn Orile yẹn la máa ń so mọ́ Oriki. La máa ń pè mí wà ní sọ máa ń gbé Àjàdí Ògbó. Wọ́n nílé wa máa pè kọ́ mi àṣà bí àṣà.
Àwọn Orile yẹn nìyẹn. Àbí wọ́n sọ pé Àlàó Òrí, Òrí kú lódò, ó kú lẹ́yọ̀ ò lẹ́jọ́ nú. ó kú lóko, ó dá pọn, ó dẹ̀rùn sí baálẹ̀ lọ́rùn. Ọmọ epo tara yọ, ọmọ òrí ṣọgbọ́n sùn. Which is scientific. Because epo tara yọ, òrí ṣọgbọ́n sùn. At normal temperature, epo is liquid. Ori is solid. And when you say epo sùn, it has congealed. And the kinetic theory of matter says that anything that is liquid is because the molecules are running fast so much that they are far away from each other. The ones that are solid, the particles tend to run not too fast, far away from each other. They are congealed as though they are asleep, not active.
So that word sunta loyengo is scientific.
Scientific.
Nísìnyí sá, mo dúró ọwọ́ mi ò tó ṣe.
Mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọwọ́ mi ò tó ṣe. Àfìgbà tí mo dùbúlẹ̀ yẹ́kẹ́ ni kí n bọ́ sí mi nígbà, ṣì ń bọ́ sí mi lẹ́nu. It exemplifies when dedication and consistency and not being discouraged because you have not got the desired result or the expected result. Just keep on keeping on because it will come. So ó dúró ọwọ́ ẹ̀ ò tó ṣe, ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọwọ́ ẹ̀ ò tó ṣe. And at the point when he felt, okay, let me just rest a little, and he didn't give up. He just rested. Then the shin started falling. The reason why it didn't fall earlier on, because it was not its time. But he's now done the work to bring it.
So results are not instantaneous.
Not necessarily instantaneous. So it is an Oriki that is enjoining you to remember that your results may not be instantaneous.
Ọmọ mo dúró
ọwọ́ mi ò tó ṣe, mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ àti mo dùbúlẹ̀ yẹ̀kẹ́ ní kí ní bọ́ sí mi nígbà níṣe. Ó sì lọ o, because after he got the ishin, the next thing was even how to sell the ishin to make money. He went around advertising. Then he met and ìyá arúgbó jọ̀kú ó tó lè pé kí ló ṣe oníṣẹ́ òun ta ni pé kí ló ṣe ń polówó ẹnu báyìí àìrọ̀ má sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn báyìí ni kò ṣe máa polówó ẹ̀.
Oriki is an instrument of history.
It is an instrument of history. The Yoruba child wakes up in the morning and say, "Good morning, mother," and he gets told or she gets told his history or her history
as a response
to good morning, mother.
Every day.
How will he forget? Over time, people have continued to ask the question, why did the Yoruba culture survive the Middle Passage and thrive in various places that Yoruba slaves were taken to? By the way, if they took 5-6 people that never met before, by the time they relate their Oriki, they find that they are the same Orile. They have formed a community.
So it wasn't just panegyric, it wasn't just
panegyric. You see, all these using Oyibo word to they are feeble copies of the phenomenon.
Mama Ekaro, and the response to that is ọmọ arẹsẹ kẹrẹ, ọmọ arówó rọrí, ọmọ òsùnfẹlò mi kání, ọmọ balẹ̀ bí ìlú kọ. That was a lot of internationality went into that.
Yes, my father and this my generation, we identify with Igan Okoto in Yewa in Ogun State. But my family is Omo Opo Kaja Karoyo Kawentoni Baba to jura wọn lọ. Now that we are in foreign land, you are now rude to me. Let's trace our genealogy back to Enoyo and see who is senior. So that already tells me that I have a genealogy in Oyo.
Exactly, my Oriki was here. Ọmọ òkè kan repeat tó ti rábìjì wá, ọmọ ẹlẹ́mọ tó bẹ́lẹ́mọ sí lọ. Just that alone,
you know that you are related.
Àti rábìjì láti gbé.
Ben.
Wow.
That is the power of Orile.
I'm lucky at least that I had that growing up. There are many people in my generation, they can't even relate to, and there are many here, who can't even relate to being told they are Oriki every morning as a response to Ekaro.
Yeah.
Sir, what would you say about Oriki as an example of the Yoruba principle of Aboro? That's of Omoluabi. Because
You're trying to tickle me again.
because no, you in your Oriki, there is a line that says Omo Agbon tin deru bojo.
Ẹ̀ṣọ́ kò yí, ọmọ abágbọ̀n lọ́nà. Ọmọ abágbọ̀n tí dẹ́rù bojo lọ́nà oko. You want me to release the secret of ẹ̀ṣọ́ kò yí to you?
Please do.
The agbon basket that the ẹ̀ṣọ́ kò yí is carrying. It contains things that he collected from war. And when you see things that you collect from war, and you are ordinary farmer, you will run. So that is why ẹ̀ṣọ́ kò yí's basket is not
things collected from war.
Things collected from war.
They are not content for a feeble mind.
It's not for the feeble mind.
So that's just that one line. But there's a lot.
There's a lot packed into it.
Aboro.
Oriki ni wọ́n kì.
Aboro
ni.
Ṣùgbọ́n
ètò tó máa fi dodidi ti wà lára ẹ̀. Nǹkan tẹ́ máa ṣe sí tó máa fi dodidi ó wà ńbẹ̀.
So if you want to make something lasting, it must be said in such a way that
the hearer will not easily forget it.
it.
In oral cultures, you can afford to be sloppy in written cultures. You can write 10 pages and go and read it.
So a key ingredient for orature is economy of words.
Economy of words, repetition, devices that make for poetry. Oratural devices, as you have literary devices in writing.
So Omoluabi, who is an Omoluabi?
Omoluabi is a very complex phenomenon. The easiest thing to say is that Omoluabi is a well-bred Yoruba person. And we're not talking of breed in the sense of is he Omoba? No. A well-bred Yoruba person, a person that is knowledgeable, a person that is responsible, a person that is brave, a person that can be depended upon. All these attributes, all these virtuous attributes put together produces an Omoluabi. An Omoluabi is a person you can depend on to deliver.
Okay, sir. So etymologically, would you subscribe to the argument of Professor Modupe Odioye that relates Omoluabi to Omotenuabi?
Myths are real in the sense that when you get to prehistory, all you have left are myths. There are principles by which we address these things. Some of the people that had early access to writing, you find them around the Arabian, Hebrew, that peninsula, that area, the Phoenicians, people in the so-called Middle East. They had an early access and active development of writing. So they documented a lot of their history. But in documenting their history, they had also to document the history of people who do not really identify with them. Because if you and I are brothers, and I document my history, your children may find some of their own history in it too. Once I go beyond our parents, then the history becomes common. So what the Bible presents to us is a body of knowledge that comes from, in writing, that comes from very, very far behind. So the so-called, the Jews, the Israelites, they emanate from after Abraham. But before Abraham, the world existed. And one of the archetypal good people before all that was Noah. So the history of people who are not Jews, who are not, you can find a bit of it in Jewish accounts of their history. And if you read the Bible, you find that the Jews were trying to document their history. And when you read the story of Noah, which is part of their history, they are called the children of the Semitics. Then you have the children of Ham, the Hamitics, and you have the children of Japheth, the Japhethites. Now, the Semitics were the people who were writing all these things. They wrote, I think, 1 or 2 verses about the children of Japheth, quite a number of verses about the children of Ham, and the rest of the Old Testament about themselves, because it is their history they're trying to record. So if you trace beyond that, you might be getting information about people who are not part of that family. But because you've traced up, so Noah is an archetypal good person that the world used at a time in history. So the idea of children of a good person is one which is sometimes attributed to Noah. So there is a concept of Noachides in some languages or in some cultures. And it is from there, from my discussion with Paudioye, that it is from the idea of Noachides that he believes that Omoluabi can be interpreted as Omotinoabi. But once it is myth, you hold it and let it compete with other myths. I talk about parallel myths. After some time, one myth may swallow the other. For example, I related 2 myths. One myth, Mungo Park discovered River Niger. Another myth, River Niger is the wife of Shango. Shango Lokoya. And River Niger is Odoya. So, Mungo Park has said his own. That is his own myth. Our 2 is the wife of Shango. Iyawo Shango Lododo. That's our own myth. So let each person carry on his own myth. Beautiful. It's about prehistory.
Beautiful. So, sir, rounding up, this Oriki thing as an evidence of Yoruba being a culture of intellection, and how does it relate to the saying Ilela Nwo Kato Somo Loruko?
Ilela Nwo Kato Somo Loruko. That is Aboro. Ilela Nwo Kato Somo Loruko. Because what we are saying in Ilela Nwo Kato Somo Loruko is a name must be a description. It must characterize the phenomenon that is so named, to the extent that when you hear the name, you know what you expect from the object, the phenomenon, or the person. The Idakeji, the second part of it, ni Tori Ojo Aba Ma Daran La Se Somo Loruko. In which case, not necessarily a description, a label to distinguish one Ori from another.
Ori Ojori.
Ori Ojori. Ori Ojori incidentally can be translated into Ori Oju, Ori, and it can be Ori Ojo, Ori. So, if you are named according to the circumstances in your homestead, anywhere where you go, they will know who you are. Esomoni Shode, Olosajo, Ode. Esomoni Shobo, Olosajo, Obo. Ewa somon sho lotan, o shan lo eni kí ló ń ṣe. Orúkọ amaromo.
Wow. Well, kò sí tí mo fẹ́ sọ náà tó ju pé torí tí bá ní if I'm to express, how grateful I feel, words will fail me. Thank you very much, sir.
Adúpẹ́. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run.
Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run tó pa yín mọ́ fún wa títí dásìkò Ọlọ́run.
Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run fún ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́ tí ẹ̀ ń wá omi ìmọ̀ láti mu. Tẹ́ fi omi ìmọ̀ ń pòǹgbẹ, tẹ́ fi omi àìmọ̀ máa fi ṣe àmúyangàn.
Thank you, sir. Because words like that coming from people like you, for me, they mean a lot, actually. Because it brings to mind the first day when I received that phone call and I picked and I heard the voice and I heard, this is Dr. Tunda Adebola. Sir, I mean, I don't know how I can describe how I felt, because you don't know, but I have been watching your videos on YouTube since as far back as 2017, 2018, 2019. I've watched all the videos he did with Baba TK. I've watched everything. And when I started doing these things, one of the fears was, so now be sort of encouraged and endorsed by one of those Agba. For me, it was really a great validation that, okay, there's something right about what you are doing. And ever since that time, there has been no time that I come to you that I met a locked door. There has been no time that I asked you a question that you never answered me. I will forever be grateful, sir. I will forever be grateful. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, èmi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run àtó fún yín ní ìmọ̀ tẹ́ ní yìí tó dẹ̀ tún pa yín mọ́ fún àwa báyìí. And I thank God for giving me the access to people like you. There are so many people who wish to be in my situation today, but they don't have that privilege. So I'm grateful that you actually came here. You're actually here live.
Pleasure to visit your fine studio.
Have you? Thank you very, very much, sir.
Most welcome.
Àgbáyé onítàn Orile láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. A máa rí yín bá o. Oúnjẹ ọmọ ọ̀dẹ̀ ní koro lẹ́nu yín bá.
Àmì àṣẹ.
Oúnjẹ ọmọ ò tí jiná tán o, ó sì ń jiná bọ̀ ni. Àdẹ̀ ní wáyé tì ló bá ti jiná tán.
Àṣẹ Èdùmàrè.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too for watching to this point. Please share your thoughts, and if you've got questions for Baba, put them in the comment section. I will direct your questions to Baba. And keep supporting, by following us, by subscribing, by sharing this video aggressively, that it may reach others and they may see what we are doing also. Till we meet again, share it.